they used to say an aspirin a day keeps the heart attacks away. But a new study is showing that might not be the case. We are joined now via Skype by Dr. Joel Kahn, a cardiologist. And Doc, thanks so much for being here.
How are you, Joel?
Hi, Dr. Kahn.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thank you for having me back.
Thanks
Great to have you on. First and foremost, before we get into the mistake a lot of people are making now, can you tell us what the new guidelines are?
Yeah, absolutely. They're very simple. If you're over 70 and healthy, don't take a daily aspirin for prevention. If you have increased bleeding risk, don't take an aspirin for prevention, maybe a previous bleeding ulcer. And if you're 40 to 70 and of increased risk, you might, and they're very hesitant, you might consider a daily 81 milligram low strength aspirin to prevent heart attack and stroke. But they have so dramatically cut back these recommendations.
And just to clarify, you're talking about people who haven't already had a heart attack, stroke, or known cardiovascular disease, correct?
You have just said the most important words. It absolutely confused people who had a stent, a bypass, a previous stroke. None of this new research or guidelines apply to people that are known to be clogged up.
Okay. And that's where people get confused, because there are certainly, as you're acknowledging, people out there who've had a heart attack who should still be on the daily aspirin. But again, it gets back to, you should have a cardiologist, right? Who should be telling you when, how much to take. I've been amazed at how it's so common for people to just take a daily aspirin like it's no big deal. And can you talk a little bit about the complications that can happen?
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually an unknown physician in Glendale, California, Dr. Lawrence Cravens, who in 1950 discovered that his patients on aspirin weren't having heart attacks and kind of set the ball rolling, but even he recognized the bleeding risk. So, you know, we're talking about upsetting the lining of your stomach and having gastritis, having an ulcer, but it could be more serious. It could be a bleed in the brain. And certainly when it's combined with other blood thinners, whether they're vitamin-based or prescription-based, the new data, because there's a lot of new data, tens of thousands of people in recent studies, show this is a drug that does this tiny little pill that people have popped so often for so many years can really increase bleeding risk in a measurable way.
Well, I did. I started myself just thinking that I was doing the right thing, a preventative type thing, but now I've stopped because I have a little gastritis.
Yeah,
no, I have a little reflux, so I don't want to combine that with the aspirin.
And I think, Dr. Kahn, the guidelines were based on, in the study, they found that 29 million adults with no known heart disease were just taking aspirin just for fun, preventively, correct?
Yeah, that is actually exactly on par. And, you know, there are now, it's strange, just this little pill, there's 160,000 people in randomized clinical trials. We consider those the best, looking at aspirin or no aspirin for primary prevention of your first heart attack and stroke. They literally show no benefit if you factor in the bleeding risk versus any reduction in heart outcome. You're not going to get any other drug studied to this kind of degree. We know the answer. If you're healthy and your doctor doesn't advise it, don't take a daily aspirin. Just do all the other things you should be doing to protect your health. That's the silver lining,
Dr. Kahn. I've got 30 seconds left in this segment. I know you're a big lifestyle advocate like myself, and I love you for that. Tell us what people can do to prevent primary heart attacks.
Quit smoking today, walk 20 minutes a day, eat fruits and vegetables, keep your body weight thin, sleep 7 hours at night, and keep your belly flat. A flat belly reduces heart attacks. Simple program.
Love hearing that.
We can do all that.
Keep up the great work. And I love that this also moves us one step further away from this mentality that good health is as simple as just popping a pill. That is, we're moving away from it ever so slowly. He just mentioned a multitude of things that you can do to prevent a heart attack. None of them involve taking a pill.
All
That's
lifestyle,
cool.
non-pill.
We have control.